Welcome back live from London. We have the Gfinity Spring Masters going on right now. And we got TP in the studio. TP, of course, from Envy. Made the move over from Optic Nation. What's it like playing with the Envy boys?
Have had a lot of success online after the stint I had on Nation. It's nice to get some wins on the board, especially in the MLG Pro League. A little bit tough coming here, switching up teammates for some of these international events, but it's all good. Got to make do and come out.
Now, talk to me a little bit about the teammates that we're going to see playing alongside Patrick Price,
right.
former duo there in Aches, as well as Apathy. What do you think of their pickups for this event?
I feel like it's kind of a weird squad that was thrown together here at the last second. Another change with Sensor, with Nagafen filling in there, but I think it's a pretty well-balanced lineup, to be honest. It's going to be a lot of pressure on Aches to really bring them together in such a short period of time, but I feel like Aqua and Nagafen, obviously extremely top players in the game still. Nagafen has some unique strategies and is able to use many different weapons that we've seen in all these different tournaments. And then I feel like Apathy is going to be the one that's going to be changing up roles on the fly, especially on a Hardpoint for them. So kind of going to be a lot of pressure on him to fill in those gaps when needed.
Right.
But as a whole, four very, very strong players in Advanced Warfare, and I think they're going to come out very strong here.
Of course, we're talking about Prophecy. If you guys missed it, Apathy and Aches picking up Nagafen and Aqua. Mud Dog, you have been a huge Aqua fan, especially as of late. Talk to me a little bit about this guy. Why is he so special, and why did Aches go after a player like Aqua?
You know, he's a pure Slayer, but I think what really sets him apart is his search and destroy play. He was on Fizzerp's MW3 TKO search team, like S&D stars, really strong at the game, and he uses some of those unique guns that we talked about with that Teep talked about with Nagafen, but I just think that his playstyle in search really catches teams off guard.
All right, now let's bring it back to the other side of the main stage. We're going to see the top squad coming out of Australia. That, of course, is going to be Plantronics Mindfreak. What do you think about this team, TP? They finished in the top 6. Australia showing that they can handle COD champs. What do you think about their play now coming over to London?
It's basically they just need to keep up pace with some of these North American teams that are over here. I think that's the one thing. Mud Dog said it in the analysis before. The American teams are just extremely good at adapting on the fly. They might come out a little bit flat in the first half of a Hardpoint, but they're able to make those adjustments, switch up their weapons and play styles, and it's going to be up to Mindfreak to switch it up with them. You know, if you can't be just sticking with your setup if it's not working, you got to switch it up on the fly and catch some of these teams off guard. If they're able to do that, especially against this newly formed Prof lineup, I think they will be able to take some maps off of them, honestly.
Australia versus America. Mud Dog, first of all, who is the player to watch from Mindfreak? 4 incredibly talented guys. Who's your favorite to watch, though?
I think the player to watch is going to be Fida. I haven't seen him play, but from what Brycey told me, is basically the scump of Australia. And if he can run that aggressive SMG role and kind of get in Apathy's face and keep up with him, that'll be the key to Mindfreak taking that first Hardpoint map.
If you guys remember back to the Ghost days, Buzzo had some insane S&D clutches. We saw those in the top 5s. Most recently, I saw Dens going off in Search and Destroy. So that's really what I'm looking forward to, this Prophecy Mindfreak S&D game. Prophecy, new squad, not a ton of experience going up against a very strong team from Australia who's known for their S&D. So if Prophecy wins Search, I think Mindfreak's in trouble. But if they get blown out in Search, I'm scared for Prophecy because I definitely think this matchup has the potential of going 5 games. TP, you got a prediction for me?
It's tough. I'll go Prophecy 3-1. I'm going to agree with your point, though. S&D, that's going to be the kicker in the series, and that's what will make it go map 5. I agree.
I think it's going to be 3-2. Again, that S&D is going to be what really matters, but if Mindfreak can steal that uplink, I think they'll be able to bring it to game 5 and make a run there.
Okay, now remember, guys, this is a dual format for the group stages. We're going to see, of course, you need 2 wins, and 2 matches are going on simultaneously. I love the format here at Gfinity. We have our main stage. You are watching that stream right now. We also have our challenger stage with a second stream available. And on that second stage, we're going to see TK taking on Aware. Aware, another big surprise squad. Not a whole lot of expectations coming into Call of Duty Championships. They go off. They make it really deep in the bracket. Teep, what do you think about this Aware squad? Can they take out this TK squad that you had to face off against in Canada just a few weeks ago?
I really think it's going to come down to that first Hardpoint. We've seen many times from this TK lineup, this most recently, that when they lose some maps that they shouldn't, they get a little bit weak mentally.
A little flustered.
Parasite gets a little bit upset at his teammates, has some choice words for them, so they need to be able to maintain compose in that series. But like we said, Aware, we didn't think anything from them coming into champs. They were able to make it. I think they took out Envy to make it far into the bracket. So it's going to be interesting to see from them. But overall, I think TK is the stronger lineup, especially from playing them at Niagara. They're a very strong respawn team. Maybe Awares might be able to steal search from them or something like that. But I think TK will take that one. My prediction for that one, I would give it to TK, probably a 3-0, honestly.
Going TK 3-0.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be 3-0 also.
I'm giving you at least one Aware. You better take it. Watson, I'm looking out for you. Guys, the matches are ready to go. Remember, open up both tabs. Watch them simultaneously right here, though, on the main stage. We have our match ready. Let's send it down to the casters for Prophecy versus Mindfreak.
Thank you very much, Puckett. Yes, we're joined here for this incredible game. Rel is joining me for this one. So, Rel, how do you think it's going to go?
Well, this is where it starts to get really interesting for me, because that Denial Hypergames team, I was quite confident Denial were going to take it. But these guys, I can't call it. I mean, Mindfreak, the strongest team in Australia at the moment, the most talented Australian lineup, in my opinion, that there has ever been for competitive Call of Duty. You know, 4 really talented players going up against Prophecy. You know, we've got Aches with 19 championships under his belt. Apathy coming from FaZe Black as well. Aches originally from FaZe Red. And then half of Team Revenge, who placed second at the Call of Duty World Championship. So that lineup is so strong. But the interesting thing about the Australian teams is they don't really have the opportunity to play against these guys. So it makes it so hard to predict.
I actually agree with you there. I mean, the analysts kind of predicted that it would be all about Prophecy. For me, it's a little bit of a wild card in terms of which one clicks between these two teams. Yes, Mindfreak are a very good team. On paper, though, you may lean towards Prophecy, and I think that's where they've gone. Genuinely, for me, I'm the same kind of mindset as you, right? This is a benchmark for Mindfreak, this is a benchmark for Prophecy for the event. Who's really going to come into it here? Now, you don't expect a ton out of the Australians at most events, because they seem to just turn up at champs, and then, like I said, last year at Anaheim, they kind of tailed off.
Yep.
If they can continue to do as well as they did here as at champs, then you've got to start going, well, now they've got to be rated higher, you know, internationally. The point where I've actually said if they come really high in this tournament, you've got to put them guaranteed top 8 in the world.
Oh, yeah, it certainly makes a statement. I mean, we've seen the Australian teams actually come into the top 8 in the previous 2 Call of Duty World Championships, so really proves the dominance. We're going to have a quick look at the maps that these guys are going to be playing and going head-to-head on, though. It's going to be exactly what you've just seen on the same stage here. Hardpoint, Biolab, Search and Destroy Detroit, Capture the Flag Ascend, Uplink Comeback, Search and Destroy Riot. That is the map pool. And one thing I would say about the Australians that really stood out for me is the slaying ability of them. Now, we've got Buzzin, who's kind of a more reserved player, but the rest of the lineup, I mean, when you look at Shocks, Fighter, and Dens, I find it so hard to say without an Australian accent, Fighter. But without them three, I mean, them three are such strong slayers, and you're going to see that ring true when we come into the games like Hardpoint. So I think this is going to be a test now for Prophecy. And as you say, this is establishing the benchmark as to who really is going to come out on second place in this group.
Well, we're going to jump on board with Fighter. First of all, been a lot of talk about him, so we will go on and watch him as this counts down. Now, for me, this realistically, I think maybe the slip maps, first of all, it should be kind of advantage to Mindfreak on the S&D. But then I'm sitting there and I was looking at the roster again and going, well, you know, I kind of rate Parasite usually as a Search and Destroy player.
Yeah.
So this could really go either way. We're going to watch the ball with Fighter first of all as they go into that first hard point. And it's definitely a slow start by, I think there may be an issue. There is going to be an issue. He's going to be a restart straight away. So we'll talk a little bit more about that then. So I was actually speaking about this Prophecy roster. Like I said, it's a very good roster. I just realized Parasite isn't on that. I was looking at the wrong piece of paper there. That was my mistake. I was actually want to talk about Aqua. Now, Aqua for me was one of the key players on Team Revenge.
Yeah.
And I actually love the way he moved, and just generally his movement on this game was so strong. And some of the best players, the best thing to say about Gun Skill or something, the movement you talk about in this game, because it is a movement-based game, and some slower, methodical players have struggled to adapt. Aqua is in his element on this game. I mean, we saw him go on a massive sniping spree on S&D before. We've seen him, you know, play uplinks like a god with, you know, just absolute frenzy pace.
Yeah, and I mean, you know, coming from that Team Revenge, my 2 personal favourites, if you like, would be Aqua and Remy. So Remy's actually gone towards Epsilon now. It's going to be interesting to see how he plays with Swanee, Madcat, and Facento. But Aqua, really strong player, and as you say, he's going to be putting up some high numbers for them, so he's kind of their counter to Mindfreak's slaying ability. That's how I feel. I've got to say, though, I mean, if we were making predictions ourselves on this, I can see Mindfreak taking it, and I know that goes against all the placements, all the the history.
I can't go with you there. I'm afraid I have to argue with that.
You see, Mindfreak, they've stayed as a team.
Yeah.
So since COD
So you're
Champs,
giving them the chemistry point, right?
Exactly.
Okay,
Yeah.
I can give you that point.
and they've been consistent since then. I mean, in the run-ups to the Call of Duty World Championships, in the qualifiers, didn't drop a single map.
Yeah.
When they were there, looked incredibly strong, and were taking down some of the top American teams. When it comes to Prophecy, it's a bit of a mishmash of really talented individual players, but how they gel together when it comes to these teamwork-based game modes, I don't know if they'll have what it takes to beat Mindfreak.
I can see where you're coming from, but I think the American team it's going to be they're very quick to adapt.
Yeah.
So with Mindfreak coming out the gate, being kind of underplayed against American teams, the fact that they don't know what to expect every single time, I think the Americans will adapt really, really well.
Yep.
And that's for that reason, is that even if Mindfreak start to take maps, I can't see them taking the entire game. I just think that this team will adapt.
Okay, I think we're going to have to agree to disagree here, Bryce. But we'll get straight into this anyway and start off with Aches. Such a recognised player within the scene. As we say, 19 championships. And is going to be bringing that wealth of high-level competitive experience here at the Call of Duty Gfinity Spring Masters.
Oh, Aches starting off, picks off 2 as well. He's looking for another one, Snow, and he's going to get a 3-piece.
Wow. Straight
off the break there for Aches. Just absolutely wrecking.
Oh yeah, an incredibly strong start altogether here for Prophecy, soaking up every single point. Finally, we are seeing this circle area contested. It is going to be Shocks trying to do some damage, but once again, we see Prophecy regain complete control. And this is an incredible start from them. There's not really been any sort of big push yet from Mindfreak.
No, they are struggling a little bit here. He picks up 2, and he's actually going to be taken down by Aches as well. He cuts straight through him. Let's jump on board with Shocks, though, and see if they can kind of break this now and actually manage to come back into it. They have managed to get it here. The rotation is going to come in, and they've got this next rotation as well. This is where they can get the points back well as well.
Yeah, and they're going to have to, because, I mean, they lost quite a bit on that first hardpoint area. They've managed to regain 13 there, so try and catch up a bit on the deficit, but it's not all that much. Shocks really did need to follow up that second kill, but it is going to be, once again, Prophecy coming out on top.
They probably should have held that for longer, to be honest with you. They had the rotation, they had an opportunity to really claw back these points. Swept completely out there by Prof just coming in like a wrecking ball.
All right, well, here we go now with Aqua. Does get I want to see what's going on with Aqua. Let's get on board with him and see what he can do here, because we've kind of bigged him up going into this game. We know what he's capable of. We've said how incredible his movement is, and we can see him here just cleaning up.
Oh, ridiculous!
Oh, managed to get 2, trying to find a third as well. Does just about elude him there, and he's on the hunt. He was trying to hunt him down, but he did get taken out by one of his teammates.
Let's stay on board with him for just a little bit longer here, as he's now going to come back into this hill, looking for players. Should he be able to pick up another one? He does. He's continuing on this streak of 3. Pre-fires going in, and here comes the rotation. They should have the scrap time as well. Big, commanding lead currently for this Prophecy team.
Oh, absolutely. But the brilliance of Hardpoint is that it can be flipped on its head in an instant. If Mindfreak can set up well in this blue area, then they're going to get every single point, and we would see them come out on top. So, possession is in Mindfreak's control. It's Prophecy who's got to break this now.
Here comes the flood. They've got 3 players ready to stack, and they are now going in looking for the trade. Players going down anywhere, and look at that. Prophecy just swept straight in. They stacked, they went in, they traded with each other, and they managed to keep it. And that was pretty much textbook how to break a hard point.
Yeah, all went in together at different angles as well. Don't go in a single file, because it just makes it easy for the controlling team. And as you say, they just took control. And we've seen Mindfreak make this initial push. We didn't see it on the first hardpoint area, so they were probably got the hopes high that they might be able to get back into this game, but Prophecy have just taken that right away from them.
Nagafen now trying to put this down. He will get shut down before he can get any of those kills that challenged him. Fighter now coming into the hardpoint. Can he try and clean this up for his team? He has got 1. Will go down as well. And this is what we said before. Apathy will actually pick up a 3-piece there as well. Looking for that 4th kill. Does go down himself, but the American team is trading very, very effectively all of these kills away. Even when Mindfreak start to get into that hard point, they just can't keep up the pace.
Yeah, this is a very convincing lead here by Prophecy, and I've got to say, I think it was that first hard point that really put Mindfreak on the back foot. He dropped quite a lot of points there, trying to soak up the remaining ones, and it just put them in a bad position for the rotation. And, Prophecy have just capitalized on that, so they're doing a great job of this, really doing well in the slaying department as well. You can see Aches there, maybe not getting all the initial captures to himself, but certainly 13 kills to 6 doing work for Prophecy.
On board with Shocks, it's just, now they're keeping them out a little bit here. This is where they can get some points back. They're pushing out the lanes quite effectively and keeping control of Circle. They don't want to let it go, and it's Denzu who's doing a massive job of doing it. Almost gets a 3-piece. That's twice. He's been denied that 3rd kill down there in the middle.
Yeah, I think it was 5 or 6 kills there back-to-back that went towards the Australians. So they're really finding back into this now, and we can see that difference is really reduced on this single top green hardpoint area. So do not rule Mindfreak out of this yet. I mean, we saw saw them on, you know, getting up to a 100-point deficit previously, but now
the kill for Fighter here. He's hoping to stay alive just a little bit longer there as he gets in through purple. Now, this is going to be difficult to pinch. They have to make sure they all come in at the same time here. It's going to be Shocks to get the one in purple, but he has no teammates. He can't actually go in yet. If he does, it will just be traded away.
Well, he's got to do something. Does get shut down. And as you say, Bryce, it's such an interesting hardpoint area. There's so many different angles that you can actually push into it, and it just becomes a massacre there. And really, you know, we see the strong SMGs come out on top and take this one for the team.
It's always the great thing in this hardpoint that it becomes kind of confusing. Players jump in, you see it contested. So many places they could be in with, but at the moment, it's gone Prophecy have kind of taken this lead back here. From the great work the Mindfreak did, it's now being pushed back as they do manage to gain control.
Oh yeah, top green hardpoint really did go towards Mindfreak, but Prophecy just showing the wealth of high-level competitive experience here. They've really gelled together. You know, it was one of my concerns going into this game, Bryce, but they've proved me wrong. They are way ahead, but Mindfreak are not out of this just yet. So we are going to see Prophecy get those final points, and it looks like Prophecy are actually going to be in control here as we go back to the initial hardpoint area.
Coming up is what we like to call the scrap hill time, right? Basically, with Mindfreak being as behind as they are, they have to play for scrap time because they can't afford to give that time away. Now, what this does is it affects their rotation because either they have to late rotate as a team, or even if they send players, they may lose out on the trade on the rotation kill simply because they have to play for that scrap time as well. So it actually becomes harder because you're behind.
Yeah, this is it. It's a very momentum-based game mode in a way. You can see the teams that initially get the best head start kind of follow that forward into the future hardpoint areas, and I think that's what's really benefited Prophecy here. It's just like this exponential increase of points that Mindfreak just don't be able to seem to come back from.
You see this kill feed is just dominated right now by the guys from Prophecy. Aches is going 24 and 11. Wow. Just ridiculous score from him. And we saw him start off really, really strong as well, and he's continued that through the rest of the match. Apathy also dropping numbers. Just dropped the 30 bomb there, as we can see. Going to pick up the 2 pieces as well, and his teammates have already rotated. You can actually see that Mindfreak, you know, they weren't ready for it. They were not ready to kind of push it out. They didn't have as much control as they wanted to. They do have the spawn for this, yes. But like I said, it's a scrap time fight. Every time they don't get that scrap time, actually hurts them so much more. Yeah, well, with Mindfreak being this far behind 100 points this late into the game, they pretty much need a full 60 on one of these further hard points, and they're just struggling. I mean, we can see this hard point's currently neutral. It's probably going to go into contest very soon with all the players swarming around it. However, Mindfreak just about coming out on top. Apathy does manage to get 2, tries to follow up with a 3rd, but we do see some sort of resistance now from Mindfreak. Gfinity trying to put that shot down, does not actually manage to get. Will pick up Buzzo though as his teammates clean out the hill. Eventually cleans it up as well by himself, and they're all going down. And it's just the kind of the tale of this match roll is that every time you think they have something, in comes Apathy, in comes like Aqua or Aches. Every single one of them is just coming through and sweeping with their teammates. Yeah, I mean, Apathy following up his 3-piece with a team kill there. Quite disappointing for him, but it's not going to matter all that much. I mean, this lead is so commanding. I just don't see any way that Mindfreak can get back into this. This is their only real chance. We can see Shock sitting up top. They have to get the full 60 on this hardpoint area. They have no other choice. You know what? Good setup, though. Yeah, they have managed to get set up here at the moment. They are trying to lock it down a little bit. One player's already gone down. Here come them. Aches is going to pick up a 2-piece. Can they manage to get into this hill now? Shocks is going to be inside. He's going to pick up 2 as well, and they have managed to clean it out. They've held on to it. I thought as soon as Aches get that 2-piece, it could be all over, and they'd be swept out again. Well, do you know what? This is really great play from Mindfreak. I said they need a full 60 off a hardpoint, and they're doing just that. 3 Mindfreak players all in that hardpoint. They don't want to give up a single point, and we can see now Prophecy pushing in. Apathy finds 1. Dens and Shock still in there, still dangerous, but all the points going towards them. Prophecy Aqua
now
with a 3-piece to clean it out, and he has, and he'll should get the 4th. No, his teammate will take that down. Gfinity gets it, and that's pretty much crushing the dreams now of Mindfreak, who almost come back to that. I mean, Apathy's 42 and 20. Yeah, and still 2 minutes left on the clock there. It looks like we're not even going to be able to see this played fully out because it's going to be a 250 victory. Mindfreak probably know that now. We can see this nice position from Aqua here, just getting the high ground and being unpredictable as well. But what a performance from Apathy here. 44 to 21, doing objective work as well, getting those captures. Do you know the problem is going to be is that the game, they're doing so well, the game is going to end before we can get to a 50. Yeah, and you know, we don't want to focus too much on just the kill-death ratios because obviously it's much more than that when it comes to hardpoint. But look at Aches as well, 38 to 17. Fantastic play there. Will be 250 to 128. And Prophecy start their Gfinity campaign in the strongest of fashions. Yeah. And it's almost double the points there, 250 to 128.
It's a massive, massive victory. Now, we just cast our mind back to what happened previously when we saw Denial go up against Hypergames. We saw the Hardpoint go 250 to 113. So again, a very convincing victory for Denial. But when we went onto the Search and Destroy, it was really anybody's to play for it. The game really opened up. It was 5-4. Denial eventually took it 6-4. But there were a few 2 versus 1 situations that Hypergames could have taken. The point being, you know, despite such a big victory there for Prophecy, Mindfreak could quite easily get back into this now.
There were flashes in that game of, you know, Mindfreak starting to come alive. They held blue for a long time. They held, you know, green plat first rotation round a long time. And you're going, if they can, you know, actually try and trade these hills now and maybe do something. But no, you know, that's 2 occasions. And that's all I can think of the entire map.
Yep.
Where they realistically got control for any length of time. Any kind of first reset they had, it was the kind of start it just didn't work. Prophecy stacked it. Prophecy outslayed. They outtraded. It just worked every single time.
Yeah, and you're absolutely right. So we saw glimmers of hope, if you like, but I think it was always going towards Prophecy that game. Right from the start, the pressure was being applied to Mindfreak, and Mindfreak just couldn't quite handle it. We saw them on the back foot right from the get-go, and anything they did just got thwarted by Prophecy.
Well, I don't want to take KD ratios too much into account, but look at them.
Yeah.
Look at them. I mean, that is phenomenal of a one-sided Slayer game. And it was indicative of what I was saying here. You kept seeing 2 pieces, 3 pieces from the guys in Prophecy. You kept seeing, you know, completely smash the hill out every time it got against them. And they were playing it still all the way out, even up to the end. Even when Mindfreak had it, they were still stacking hills. They were still pinching properly. They just were not giving Mindfreak an inch with which to come back.
Yeah, and every single one of those players performed. And as you say, Bryce, we can't take it too literally, those kill death ratios. So despite, I think it was Nagafen who was 0.92, it was a team effort, and this is the thing. When it comes to the rotations, we saw Rakes throwing himself into those hardpoint areas, and every single time he was just picking up those kills, and it's plays like that win the game when it comes to hardpoint. So a really, really strong hardpoint game, and you know, when I compare that to that I saw of Denial earlier today, I've got to say, similar scorelines, but Prophecy probably looking the stronger hardpoint team.
Oh, really? You're gonna go there?
They're against different opposition. I think Mindfreak are a stronger team than Hypergames, so that's just my opinion, I suppose. But you know, if we do see that matchup later on, we'll see what actually comes of it.
Yeah, so this for me now is the equalizer, right? Detroit Search and Destroy is coming up. The Australians are known to be great at Search and Destroy, sometimes unconventional, and their greatest strength actually in this is that the Americans won't always know what's coming.
Yeah, and you know, there's a lot of pressure on these guys as well. They're the only Australian team competing here. I know they have a big following in Australia that will be tuning in and seeing how well they're doing. And with them being a few predictions as dark horses or underdogs, they're just one of these teams that have the potential to cause an upset, but whether they can go the whole way and take the championship, I'm not quite sure. Prophecy, though, I feel personally this is quite an even match in teams, despite what we just saw on that hard point.
Well, we'll see on the Search and Destroy. And you might be right. This is where it could be turned around. This is where Mindfreak could really do some damage, and they actually kind of start to get a map back and maybe, you know, go forward, go into the capture the flag and get that. Uplink, I think the North American teams in general are just phenomenal at Uplink. So I couldn't give them that match, but that technically, if it went that way, we'd go all the way to map number 5, where, you know, it could be anybody's game.
All right, well, this is going to be Detroit. Expect aggressive play from the Australians if historically anything is to go by. Can't get my words out there, Bryce. But yeah, I think they're quite an aggressive team, Mindfreak. When it comes to Prophecy, as we say, we've got this mishmash now of different players. We had 8 competing under FaZe Red, Apathy under FaZe Black, but now teaming together, and we have 2 of the Team Revenge players filtering into them as well. So the chemistry, I'm not sure how it's going to work. Maybe more of a reserved approach, but it does look like they are going for the early A push.
On board with Aqua now, and you know what? Once I saw him with a sniper rifle, I couldn't resist. This guy has seen some of the craziest sniper rifle play on S&D I've ever seen. I'm hoping we get to see that now.
Well, it's peering around those corners, much like Clayster did. Almost trying to emanate what we saw from him earlier. He is going to be under some heavy pressure. Wisely decides to back up there.
Aix is going in, looking to try and put some shots down. Not able to get it either. Now, the issue that Prophecy are going to have is what do they do from here? It's too late to go for unless they're going to rush it now and try to just overwhelm with strength. They're actually going to leave. I think that's Aix they're leaving. No, it is Aix. Aix being left back to see if he can spot anything there. Why? And this is going to be a very dangerous push from them. They don't have as much time as they would like, And you can actually see the Mindfreak. Oh my goodness, Nagafen. That's actually a big kill for Prophecy. It's going to open up this map a little bit for them.
Yeah, definitely. And it's like, say, when it comes to attack on Search and Destroy, one of the big advantages the attacking team has is they have the option whether to go towards A and B. So when they reveal where the push is or they've held back too much, that's when the defensive team can start to come out on top. But these big kills that are now being made by Prophecy are going to be dangerous for Mindfreak.
Oh, Fighter just picked off 2. There's a massive play from him to jump on board. If he can do something, there's actually a great play from Prophecy. I was going to point out the trade they actually managed to do. Did he see? I don't think he saw him. I don't think he did. He will know now. Can he try and do something? He's seen Aches already. Going to try and challenge Aches on cover. I'm not sure that's the greatest plan here. And right now, Prophecy have 2 players really close to each other as well. It's going to be so difficult for them to actually push through and get this. Fighter's going to be so... It's not a great scenario. Bomb down, 25 seconds left to go. The players are playing really well, and both at this bomb site. It's almost an impossible scenario.
Well, he's managed to get 1 there, and it just means a 1 versus 1. He cleaned up 3 before. If he picks up this kill, it will be absolutely massive for Fighter. He will have got all 4 of Prophecy kills, but he's not going to have time to go for that defuse.
No, he didn't even get it. Gets turned and burned. And that's what I was saying here. Fighter, it was almost impossible because of the trade, and because if he didn't manage to get both of them, which he didn't, the other player can run away.
Yeah.
Just no time, and they played for the trade. He almost got killed on that one. Nagafen almost took him down before he even kind of turned around and tried to get him.
Well, Fighter...
The clock killed him, and the fact that they were both playing so well killed him as well.
This was it, and you know, it's as I said, the only advantage that the attacking team can take is that early push. They can make the decision where they want to go, and the defensive team almost have to split themselves. So when they reveal where the push is, it puts them on the back foot. We see 2 kills, 2 very early trade there. Just on the subject of Fighter, though, you know, he's almost this Australian prodigy. He's finally come of age to actually compete at these high-level tournaments, and I think we're going to be seeing a lot more of him on the competitive circuit.
I actually want to point out, I mean, he did a great job to get into green that last game. He somehow managed to slip through the net of Prophecy, and that's where this whole issue of Prophecy started. He picked up a 2-piece so quickly. Now on board with Fighter still looking to see where this team can go. It's 3 versus 3, and it's going to be difficult here. I mean, his teammate has control of the bomb site. They may be able to push into here if he can do anything. Oh, Aqua says no, not today. Shuts the door.
That's quite interesting, the response from Dens there. He didn't actually go for the challenge. He actually just held back, and it's going to cost him. Aqua manages to make that kill, leaving Shocks all on his own in a 1v3.
And he gets challenged again, and down he goes. Prophecy just picking apart Mindfreak.
I'm not sure, was that Aqua who got that final kill as well? Was that a nice little 3-piece from him?
I think we're going to find out. It was. Aqua picks him up as well, just shuts that bomb site in their face.
Yeah.
There's no coming in here today at all. And Aqua, that's a 4 streak now from him. He's 5-1. Prophecy really are stepping it up.
And it's crazy to think he actually managed to pull that off. When Dens was in that position lying down in the bomb site, you would have thought he would have either gone for the challenge immediately after that kill was made, or he would have picked the kill up when he came around the corner. But Aqua just, you know, showing how impressive he is on this Search and Destroy game mode. Currently 5-1, so doing a great job here for Prophecy.
Staying on board with Aqua this time round. See if he can kind of make any more magic happen. See if we can see anybody that's not actually in fight. We'll pick up that first kill on Ace. Both teams now posturing, looking to see if they can maybe make a pick here. For the attacking team, it's a nightmare scenario. He's going to come straight out there. Aqua being very aggressive. Can he get away clean? Yes, he can. Wow. It's a massive play from him, especially since his teammate Apathy is going in for the trade, and Apathy's got it as well. Buzzo will eventually take down Aqua, but massive plays to get that back to a 2 versus 2.
Yeah, it got quite hectic there, so great plays being made. Apathy is going to get shut down by Dens. Nagafen left all on his own. He's going to have to come clutch for his team if he wants to take this to 3-0. Yeah, it's a really difficult position he's found himself in because he knows he needs to get it. Oh, and he's jumping around all over the place.
No, surely he's going to see him. He has. Wow. He managed to see Dens as well. He's looking for that last kill. Instantly whips the sniper out. Nobody going to be there.
I was going to say, I mean, Nagafen, he was right in the open, almost screaming, someone challenge me. I managed to find Dens tucked around that car. Did pick up the kill, and here we go. It's the 1 versus 1 engagement now. Buzzin versus Nagafen.
I don't even think he's going to challenge. Kind of onto Buzzo. Does Buzzo have the have the bravery to check on Nagafen? I don't know if Nagafen can get away clean here. It's going to be terrible if he can. He does. He managed to get out to green. And now, could this come down to a 1 versus 1? Which way is this going to go? Nagafen has a quick check on the bomb side, and he's going to get it, and he will manage to jump in there as well. Kind of awareness to check that. Going, where's this player? He was really close to me.
Yeah, that's just world-class play there from Nagafen. He played that brilliantly. Given the situation he was put in, he maneuvered around the map, managed to pick up that bomb and pick up the kill. And I was thinking to myself, he was being quite reckless when he was just exo boosting, exo slamming, you know, around that bomb site where it was dropped. But it paid off for him. So 3-0 now to Prophecy. Really commanding lead that they've got here. and quite similar to what we saw in this hardpoint, actually. Really, really good start for them.
Den's looking for that cross snipe into Skull. Not going to see it, and he is going to be taken down by Aches with the nade coming over. Now, but can this team push into Skull and try to make something work here? So far, it's just not gone well for them. They even had first blood, second round, still didn't convert.
Yeah, I mean, just actually looking at this group, so Group D, just to quickly review it, Team Caliber, Prophecy, Mindfreak, and Aware. When I actually look at this, as I say, I think this is going to be the deciding game, really, as to who can advance. I know that we're playing through a double elimination bracket within this group, but Mindfreak really need to win this, as do Prophecy.
Look at Ace in that booth there, Rel. He's just so happy. He's like, this is easy.
Yeah.
This is a walk in the park.
They're cruising through, and it's really disappointing for Mindfreak. I've got to say, they've come a long way, as of Prophecy, but, you know, they are representing Australia. They're the only Australia team competing here, and they wanted to put on a good show. So far, it's not been the case 4-0, but we did see Hyper Games have a big comeback. So a European team did manage to come back against the Americans previously to now.
Well, jumping on board with the Americans, and I'm going to watch Nagafen actually off the break, since he hasn't done. There's 2 thermal snipers we can see there. He is watching it, so we will call that out, that Denz has managed to go Skull. So I wouldn't be surprised to see an aggressive push here. Yeah. Actually, Denz is being the aggressive one. He almost had a player in his sights, but a bit of COD timing has put him out. Now, Apathy pushing into this bomb site through fire may call out to his team to rotate into that bomb site, not knowing that Denz obviously got past.
Well, Denz, probably the highest achieving player coming out of Australia, placing in the top 8 in the 2 previous Call of Duty World Championships. Trying to bring something to the table here. Picks up the kill against Aqua, makes first blood.
He's in a lot of trouble. Look at that. 3 players are now hunting for him. Will he be able to get out of this? Surely not. He managed to pick off 1. It will be traded away there now. 2 versus 2.
And you know what? That single kill is all he needed to do. He's managed to just make a kill, so it was a trade-off.
He got trapped.
Yeah, which was great play. He took the risk, and it worked out for him. But we are seeing Aches left all on his own. This is the round that Mindfreak can take. Fighter and Denz need to combine, need to stick together, so that if one goes down, they can trade off and pick up Aches.
30 seconds for Aches. Has to go get that bomb as well. Not a great situation. You can actually see, he's going to see that player there. He's going to try and challenge. Player coming out fire window as well. Aches locks on. Not able to get them. He's putting bullets on both of them, but not in getting those kills. Will eventually get one now. That bomb is still down, and it is not in a position for him to get it and get it back in time. Aches has to look for this kill.
Yeah, I mean, Denz is wisely just trying to stay alive, but he's
been
been spotted.
Oh my goodness. No! Turn and burn. Aches gets shut down when he had the advantage, and he will be able to take him down. 4-1, Mindfreak get upon the board.
How on earth did Denz manage to pick up this kill? Let's just see the replay of this straight away spinning round. And I've got to say, must have been using some sort of audio there. He was almost like this psychic reading. He was behind him, but picks up the kill. Finally, we see Mindfreak with a round on under the belt. So great play. It was strange watching that. Aches was in a 1 versus 2. I've never seen such an aggressive 1 player against 2. You know, Aches was charging at them,
yes.
and they were both running away. There's 2 of them. But
yeah, I think it was just the way they weren't expecting Aches to instantly lock onto fire for that player, and just charged them. He whipped out the SM1. I'm going to kill one of you. Now Denz was the man we're going to stick on board with here. Thermal Sniper jumping on board with 5 of those. There is going to be engagement going on the hospital. He is going to get shut down. Aches says no thank you. And now it's all bad news for Mindfreak again.
Well, still here with Denz there. Did manage to actually win that round for his team. Shox having a bit of a disappointing search and destroy game. So Denz really flying the flag here for Australia. Shox got to pick things up.
Shox was so weak there, he didn't even want to go back and get that bomb. He completely dipped out. This is going to round could end. Potentially Fighter has timed out, but he was already dead, so it was not going to be a big problem.
Let's just see how this plays out. Still with Shox now. Atlas Cube just sitting back. 2 versus 3. Still can potentially pull this off. Gonna be difficult though.
Oh, he killed his teammate.
Oh, and that's quite a confusing situation. He left it in a 1 versus 2. It is gonna go towards Prophecy. 5-1 is the round count. And yeah, a bit of confusion there in the middle of the map. They managed to secure 1 kill against Prophecy, but a team kill in the process. Traded off against themselves, effectively.
Yeah. And that would be disappointing here. I mean, Denz tried to then challenge Nagafen top, and he almost had it. I mean, you can see he was on it, but Nagafen was just quicker to the punch. Currently 5-1 here, and Prophecy are putting Mindfreak to rights. Yeah,
and you know what? I've got to say, when we were doing our predictions before the start of this game, I was edging towards Mindfreak, and it was, you know, nothing against Prophecy. It's because I thought Mindfreak were better than what they're showing here. Prophecy have performed as I would expect at a very high level, but I've got to say, Mindfreak just aren't performing as I've seen them do before.
Yeah, this is what I said coming into this tournament, right? I said Mindfreak's greatest kind of asset for me is they don't play the same way as a lot of the other teams. And this is a very kind of tight tournament. There is no groups you go, oh, this is obvious, or this is obvious. It's actually a really tight tournament the entire way through. So you're never going to have that easy game you particularly want. Yep. Apart from maybe if you're Prophecy against Mindfreak right now.
Well, that's certainly the way it looks, and it's quite surprising to actually see. But, let's just actually review this group. Now I've got an opportunity. So the other teams that are actually playing in Group D, it's going to be Team Caliber and Aware. So when we actually look at those 4 teams all together, who are we kind of going towards here to take those top 2 positions?
Honestly, I want to back Aware, but I don't know. I mean, they're going up against such stiff opposition that it would be difficult for me to call it here. And it's one of those things you'll say again. There are no easy games. There is no obvious answer. We've seen upsets of this before. We've seen players, some of these teams are almost pick-up teams and don't have the chemistry we would like.
Yep.
Some of them haven't performed recently as well as they would like. And it actually makes the group and the tournament very, very close everywhere you see. There's actually strength in depth with a lot of these teams.
Yep. And what I'm really looking forward to when it eventually comes around is the Mindfreak versus Aware game, because if you cast your mind back to this is it. So Mindfreak just edged a victory to them at the Call of Duty World Championship. So I know Aware will want revenge. There's been a slight change to the Aware lineup. We do actually see Rated taking a place of JT, who's now competing under Infused. But apart from that, organization-wise, they are going to want revenge.
I'm going to put you on the spot here, Al.
Okay.
Rated versus JT.
For me, the 2 very different players, and I think the switch is going to be beneficial to Aware. I think Rated will work better with this team. That being said, JT has been an integral part of Aware for such a long time.
That's because it shocked me, right? Because when you saw Watson and Peely, and JT would usually just slip straight in there. I mean, that's a lot of chemistry that's being thrown. I mean, Watson and JT have been a duo like a lot in the past, going back years, and for me, that was kind of like, almost didn't feel right that JT wasn't in that squad.
Yeah, and I mean, outside of the game, of course, these guys are great friends, but I know Watson's openly criticised JT and maybe not, wanting to find a replacement. And I've got to say, for Aware's purpose, I think it's a beneficial move. But that being said, I think Infused are actually a stronger team now as well with the addition of JT. So I think this switch has worked in both of these teams' favours.
But not against TCM, it hasn't.
This is it, because, but that being said, TCM just kind of clean sweep them. Prove their dominance, but that's because TCM are such a strong team. So I don't know. I mean, if we saw an Infused Aware matchup later on in this tournament, somehow I don't know which way it would go. It would be very interesting to watch, though.
I think maybe this is Aware's time to shine. I mean, Infused with that defeat to TCM and how one-sided I was told it was, and the mistakes they were making, I was told, because I was thinking of watching it was I believe it was Courage and Momo, your brother, who were casting it, and they kind of said, went, Infused looked a little bit shaky at points. It wasn't even TCM being, just glorious above them. It was more the fact that Infused may have looked a little bit shaky. Maybe first game, it just had a bad first game, could be a factor, but bearing in mind how tight this tournament is, and you win 2, you go through the groups, you lose 2, you go home, they can't afford to do that.
Okay, so let me ask you something. With this Group D, which is the one that we're casting over now, are we both assuming Team Caliber are going to come out on top here?
I don't think you can assume anything in this group. Group D, for me, is the tightest group.
It's the hardest one.
It is the hardest group. You've got all these teams that could potentially do it, and right up until the day, you're just not going to know.
No.
Like Mindfreak, I know Puckett's a big Mindfreak fan.
Yep.
He's been kind of championing them the entire way through. So they were one of the ones that could come out here. I mean, I think he even picked them as his dark horse.
Well, I think one thing to remember here, this Search and Destroy isn't over yet, but the way it's going, it's most likely going to go towards Prophecy. So Mindfreak are going to find themselves 2 rounds down in a best-of-5 series. They're going to have to win every single round back-to-back, going up against a team that's quite clearly showing themselves as the stronger side. They're going to have to change something. They're going to have to get into the right mindset, because I know...
I think obviously they're going to go back into this game and try and win it. I said, but... realistically, you would just go, no, it's done. Well, I would say it's done. 5-1 for me is pretty much done, right? Yeah. Going to the next game here, completely disregard the last 2 maps, get your head straight, play your own game, and we're right. It's not gone well so far, but let's stick to our tried and tested strategies. Let's not fear them, and let's just go at it the way we usually would. And hopefully, if they're good enough, they can turn this around.
Well, this is it, because Prophecy, as I said before, they're performing as I would expect them to. They're very strong. The way that they're working themselves around the map, it's what we've seen from the individual players. But when it comes to Mindfreak, we're used to seeing such a strong slaying side with Mindfreak, and we've not seen any of that so far in the Hardpoint or the Search and Destroy. I know that, there's kind of a lot less slaying involved in Search and Destroy, but that's what needs to change. They just need to kind of wake up and realize, they've got to turn up now. They're 2 rounds down in a best-of-5 series if they lose this Search and Destroy.
For me, it's one of those ones where we didn't know how the benchmark was going to be set before the game came in, and now we're actually getting a kind of a little bit of a kind of a guess where these 2 teams are stacking up. Mindfreak maybe not as great as some people predicted before the tournament now. Genuinely, just off those two maps going, been very one-sided. Prophecy, does that put them a little bit better in people's minds at home? And you see, we are just resolving a player connection issue. We'll be right back into this game very, very shortly. But, you know, this now is starting where the first day for me is right interesting because every team plays.
Yeah.
So now, at the end of this day, we should know roughly how these teams are starting to stack up against each other.
Yeah, I mean, just looking at the other groups now and the other teams that are actually competing in the Gfinity Spring Masters, I'm most excited to see Epsilon because a few various reasons. Epsilon as an organisation outside of SWC, they've won every single European event. So as an organisation,
it's not Epsilon though.
But this is it. So they've got Swanee and Madcat teaming up with Facento and Remy together as a team. Very little practice, but individually we know how good these players are, and they're kind of coming as a pair. So it's not like one player's just been picked up. So, you know, are we going to see some strange duos being formed?
I think the other issue with this, and yes, I'm excited. I know why you've brought them up. I'm excited to see them play too. And one of the reasons is they only really practiced like 2 days ago. They played like two full matches together, and that's it, right? So that's going to cause, for me, that actually takes them out of the running as top maybe 2.
Okay.
I couldn't put them in my top 2 no matter what I wanted to do, unless there's some sort of magical chemistry. It just works. It's a miracle, right? And the chemistry's perfect, and they just automatically click.
It turns out that Madcat and Facento are just the ultimate duo.
Yes,
something like that.
Something like that, right?
Yeah.
Unless that happens, which, let's face it, very unrealistic. The teamwork, the chemistry, the strategies are just not going to be there enough for them to really challenge to win this tournament.
Well, they've got a tough group themselves. I mean, they've got Optic Gaming. This is Group A that we're referring to, by the way, alongside Strictly Big Business. Gamers 2, I think a few people would argue, maybe might not be able to qualify.
They're the underdogs in this group. Gamers 2 are the underdogs in this group, and that's no shame in saying that, in the fact that all the other teams are so good.
But that's something I think Gamers 2 can use to their advantage, really. They see themselves as the underdog. They've almost nothing to lose by giving it. And sometimes that encouragement to, you know, if they think, you know, we can actually beat these guys, that can actually win them games. Just casting our eyes over some of the other groups. We've not talked too much about Group C, actually, on this stream. So just to give you a rundown who's involved there, it's Envios, Optic Nation, Vitality Storm, Babi Germany. For me, Vitality Storm. Now, that's going to be interesting. Tommy, Josh, Marky B, and Reedy.
That's another team which we talked about in the pre-show about, is this team going to do a lot of work, or is it just, you know, they've just formed?
This is it. This is why I'm excited.
It's not even the same Vitality as last weekend.
Yeah.
So that's one of the ones where, can this be, you know, the birth of an incredible roster and an incredible team, or is it going to be a little bit of a setback and they'll go, oh, this did not work? I already know that Marky B and Tommy have had issues clicking in-game.
All right, well, we'll discuss that later on, but for now we need to jump straight back into this Search and Destroy. For you guys that are just joining us back home, it is currently 5-1 in favor of Prophecy, so Mindfreak really do have the backs up against the wall. They're going to have to do something very special, win 5 rounds back-to-back against what has proven to be an incredibly strong Search and Destroy side so far. We're going to start off watching Prophecy, though. They are the attacking side. Just keep remembering, all that Prophecy needs to do is win a single round.
Here we go, on board with Nagafen first of all. Oh, he's going to get that hit marker. Now, he's going to probably call that out. I'm not sure if he's going to know where Fighter is straight away, but he will be checking, and he has guessed it wrong. Fighter will take him down, and that's the kind of case where it will actually be the hit marker that ruins him to begin with. Fighter picking up a 2-piece to begin with. 2 versus 3. No, 2 versus 2 as Aqua picks it up to kind of bring it back. And here we go. If Apathy can get this down, really good chance here. But now he's in a 1 versus 2. Realistically, putting this down could get him killed.
Can you imagine if Mindfreak somehow win this? If Mindfreak somehow...
That's a good way to start to do it.
This is it. If they can get 5 rounds back-to-back against Prophecy, it would be incredible. They'd get themselves right back into the best of 5 series would tie up 1-1, and it would be a completely open game again. Great start from Fighter. You know, as I said, he's kind of this Australian prodigy. He's been unable to compete at high-level tournaments due to his age, but he's now 18. He can actually compete, and he's really showing his dominance.
Well, let's jump on board with the attacking team. That will be Mindfreak. And I'm going to go on board with Fighter, who picked up 3 kills there as well. He has really been just a phenomenal player for Mindfreak in the Search and Destroy, even though the scoreline really hasn't gone Mindfreak's way, as he picks up another kill there. Entry kill straight to the bomb site. Massive stack on the green here for these guys. It will be traded back again once more. But if this goes down, it will be advantage to Mindfreak.
There we go. Bomb is planted.
Got away clean.
3. And he does manage to escape. I told you they were aggressive, Bryce, and that's a very, very fast push on A. They've just got to run the time down now.
This is the Australian Search and Destroy that is so feared and does so well at big tournaments like Champs. Aggressive, complete rush into green there. And Buzzo is going to go down as well. It's now Fighter. Fighter goes down. That is going to be it. It will, in fact, be Prophecy that win this. But 6-2. And you know what? For a second there, I was like, well, Mindfreak have got this sorted out. They've got it locked down. They had green control. They were ready to take this, and then it stopped.
Yeah, so, you know, they did have that advantage, as you said, when they got that bomb plant down. But it does end 6-2, only 2 rounds going towards Mindfreak. They're going to be disappointed with that, but they can't let it get to them now. That's 2 crushing defeats in both of these rounds so far. Prophecy really turning up, really showing what they're made of, and sending out a message to the rest of the teams competing here.
Yeah, this is a big dominant start here. And he actually aches giving his team a team talk here, but they do look quite relaxed, this Prophecy team. It was all smiles a minute ago, and now it's kind of like, well, you know, we just got to get into this. We've got to make sure, you know, they're very, very calm. I think it could be a disadvantage going to the next game.
Yeah.
Because they're like, oh, we've not really been tested.
Well, Capture the Flag Ascend is going to be the next game. And we saw this previously when Denial went up against Hyper Games and won 6-2. So Americans looking quite strong on this. I know that's not really much to gauge this particular matchup, but
it's one game.
It's all we've got. It's all we've got so far. So I don't know how Mindfreak are really going to deal with Prophecy on this, because I went into this best of 5 series thinking they're going to put up at least a fight, and we've just not seen it.
Yeah, you know, not only that, but I think all the analysts and everybody agreed that this like I said, we expected Mindfreak to do better against this team.
Yep.
They haven't so far. They now need to turn this around. I'll be honest with you now, for me, at the very worst, it's a 3-1. I just do not see Mindfreak winning the uplink. I think it's going to easily go to Prophecy there. Can they take the capture of the flag, though? I would still lean to no. I think it's going to be a 3-0.
Yeah, I've got to agree with you now. I'm changing my decision. I knew Prophecy would win all along. But yeah, I've got to say Prophecy to take this now based off what we've seen so far. When these guys are clashing and going head-to-head, it's always Prophecy that are coming out on top. They're winning the gunfights, they're getting in the better positions, the rotations are more effective, and I think we're going to see that again on this Capture the Flag Ascend. But what me and Maven talked about before, particularly on this map, it's a map where you can really make these sneaky captures. It's something that maybe Mindfreak could start using as their strategy here if they can just kind of sneak through and get one and take a 1-flag lead.
Possibly. We've seen that before. We've seen like massive aggression. If you think all the way back to teams like Infused, who love to just continue to put the pressure up and really challenge players. Well, I think Vitality Storm did it last weekend. They just kept challenging, they kept pushing so aggressively. It was difficult for other teams to deal with here. If the Australians can play a strategy or a gameplay that doesn't, you know, Prophecy's not strong at, or that kind of pulls them apart, or they're not expecting, yes, they have a chance. In terms of raw firepower, every time I'll give it a Prophecy.
Well, here we go. We're just having a map fly through here, Ascend. You can see these narrow channels, this close quarter combat areas, and whilst it's quite exposed openly, you can just kind of tuck yourself around every single nook and cranny and make those flag pulls, which is why this is, like I say, one of those Capture the Flag maps where you can go for these sneaky pulls. As long as you can pick it up and kind of maybe get 1 kill on the return, your team can swarm around you and provide this barrier of defense.
Well, let's jump into this game now, and I'm going to start on board with Fighter. Has been putting up a decent performance for his squad so far, but here he has to go Super Saiyan to really take this one.
Yeah, and all his teams got to step up, really. Buzzin, quite interestingly, we don't see this from too many teams on Capture the Flag, but Buzzin plays extremely defensively, so usually you'll see teams rotate and push as a unit, but Buzzin's likely going to be sat back, pretty much just defending the flag. That's what we saw when he competed at Call of Duty Championships. Maybe they've changed it, but that's what we've seen in the past.
On a map like this, you do occasionally see players sit back and kind of play Herc, and I mean, Buzzer's already got this away. Yeah. It's going to be both teams playing. Aqua's in a little bit of a dangerous position. He will actually go down. That flag will be returned, and automatically the Australians, Buzzo, 0-1, will have that capture.
Well, look at this. A strong start from the Australians. Mindfreak opening up very, very well here. And this is what I said Buzzin is going to do. And he's probably going to do this for the remainder of the game. He's not going to particularly sit behind the flag, but he's always going to be lurking on the defense. Aqua really wanting to make this push.
He's trying to get those stuns going out there. Aqua will now have this flag down. He goes straight away. Just not able to make it. And Denz is going to be looking to pull it away as well. He has a teammate with him here. And Mindfreak are in a good position to make this one. If he can get this kill, it's not going to go down. Apathy will stop that. And now you can actually see the Australians being really aggressive here. Fighter coming forward. Den's now pushing forward once again here. They are playing a defensive player occasionally, but that defensive player just push it up straight away.
Yeah, and you know, I feel like they must have had some sort of team talk here. We're only 1 minute 30 into this game so far, but this is already a different Mindfreak from what we've seen. The crushing initial defeats in gunfights that we saw originally have kind of been ousted out because we're seeing this balance between the two teams. Sure, Mindfreak do have a flag already, but that could have kind of gone either way.
on board with Buzzo, and he is going to pick up that kill. I was hoping he made that one. If he did, then he could have tried to challenge or really slow down this flagpole. Apathy, though, needs to make this kill. Big kill from him. That should now go home as his teammates do flood. It is going to be a counterpull going on, but that is going to stay alive. How on earth is Shock stayed alive there? Eventually will go down, and there was just such chaos it couldn't even get onto a player. And it is now 1-1 between these two squads. Here come Mindfreak again, though. Fighter now coming in, picks up the two-piece. Will now rip this flag home. Does have a little bit of support in the form of Dens. He has one more player to beat. His teammate now backing up as well. Will be Buzzo. And now Fighter's going to get this one home. A play out of almost nothing and perfect kind of cover from his teammates has allowed Fighter from that two-piece to pull this home and bring it back to 2-1.
This is it. He went straight for that capture when he managed to pick up one kill, and his team immediately swarmed around him and just protected him the whole way. You know, Prophecy had no other option but to go for the challenge, and every single time they were getting shut down. So great play from Mindfreak. But again, great play from Prophecy to actually get a flag. As you said, Bryce, it was really hectic for a second that it looked like Mindfreak might have been able to deny it, but Prophecy managed to work around the map to actually get one for themselves.
Buzzo now, we'll see that player. It is going to be Aches. He's actually spotted, and he's going to just easily take him down. A little bit of a sneak play, just not going to go his way. Shock's picking up another kill here, and Mindfreak will now go for a pull as they've done so many times before. Fighter, can he make this kill? Is not going to be able to make it. He will get it eventually.
Wow.
And managed to slip away. Can Fighter stay alive any more longer here? Here come his teammates, but no. Aqua and Apathy and Aches shutting them down. Mindfreak go 4 down. And Apathy is going to try and rip this flag away with the help of his teammates this time.
Yeah, great push once again by Fighter, cleaning up too, but it was just too much for him to handle. Prophecy works so well as a team there to actually shut that push down and trying to go for a counter of their own, but that has been stopped now as well. Here we go, Buzzer now going for a counter of the counter, so it's pretty back into this game so far, Bryce.
They're just constantly pulling, and it's really kind of making this team kind of doubt themselves every single time. You actually see them stall mid-map more than once, going, have we got everybody? Have we made sure we've got every player? Because otherwise our flag could be pulled again. Aches now in a good position. He should be away here. His teammates are going to back him up and staying alive in that position. No! Has been stopped there, and I think it was Shocks or Dens who managed to do it. And Dens will now pull this flag away again. Big stop from them. I don't think he's going to make those kills get out of there, and it will go back to completely level. And who's going to make the push?
Yeah, I mean, he didn't make the kills. He didn't really manage to get far with the pull, but he managed to stop their capture, which is the important thing here. So they've just maintained this lead. And I think this is kind of the story we're going to see from Mindfreak so far. We're seeing these continuous dual pulls from both teams, and Mindfreak are just trying to apply the pressure as much as Prophecy are, and it's working in their favor, you know. Attack is the best form of defense.
3 to beat. I don't think he's going to be able to do this here. He's got a teammate now trying to back him up. Stays alive. He's going to continue to challenge here. Will eventually be taken down. Apathy says thank you. And now this could be a way to equal it back up. I'm wondering if she should challenge. Teammates are coming in from MF. It's going to go down. Buzzo's going to be there, and he will get that return as well. Flagpole start from both sides.
Yeah, I don't know if I particularly agreed with him challenging there flag carrier against flag carrier, because as we say, Mindfreak do have the lead and they want to close this first round out with that lead. They've just got to hold on for 10 seconds and shut this final flag push down, which they've done.
Well, there you go. We'll go 2-1. Advantage to Mindfreak into the second half. And you know what? They played really well here. I mean, they've been more aggressive for me, and that's what's kind of been the difference, is that almost every single time you gave them a gap, they've gone through the inside, they've managed to get it and pulled it out. I mean, Fighter's been one of those big players who continually makes that kill as well on the flag. He gets in there, and there's a player defending from Prophecy, still makes the kill. Still makes the kill, still pulls the flag.
But, I mean, in terms of slaying, just look at Apathy once again. We saw him in that Hardpoint. I don't recall the exact scoreline, but it was 44 to 20-ish. And in this game now, 16 to 8. So going double positive for his team there. Let's jump on board with him now and see what's going on with Apathy. I want to see what he's going to be able to continue to do, because he does also have the only flag capture of Prophecy as well.
Here we go, on board with Apathy here. And I think this may see a more aggressive Prophecy team in this second half. You just see a play there will get taken down by Fighter. Aqua now is in a position, does see Fighter as well. Now should be able to go for a flagpole here. Advantage currently to Prophecy, but that will be counterpulled as well. They don't have as much map control as they could. Like, will Apathy see him before it disappears? No, Den is there as well. He's now got 2 to try and take on. 3 as another player comes through the middle. That flag is gone.
Yeah, I just love how aggressive Mindfreak are playing this. Let's just see what's going on now.
Aches is going to try and stop this. He's seen 1. Can he make the second kill here? He's going to be challenged. Can he manage to make it as well? Ooh. Aches, no. Taken down by Buzzer, who stays alive with his flag for a little while longer.
The constant tactic that Mindfreak are bringing to the table here on this capture the flag. Every time that Prophecy are making a pull, so a Mindfreak.
Buzzo's gone down.
They're just constantly making it open play.
Nagafen is going to go down as well. That should be a return from both sides, but it will be Fighter who now pulls the flag once more for Mindfreak, as both teams will get this home. Now, Fighter, can he manage to slip out here? Prophecy are setting up a defense line to stop him. He is going to go down to Nagafen.
And this is what I was saying earlier, you know, Prophecy are having to defend despite the fact that they are losing. So, as I was saying, attack is the best form of defense in some situations. That's exactly what Mindfreak are doing. Prophecy need to find an answer to this, and they need to find it soon.
It's been such a scrappy game of capture the flag, Rails, that when one team pulls, the other team will pull, and then both of them just collide in the middle of the map.
Yeah, and you know, that's kind of the story, is how we've seen every single one of these flag captures go down. There's been this very scrappy push, but we see one team dominate the kill feed, as we're just seeing now from Mindfreak, and it opens things up for them to make a push themselves. Prophecy have got to do something special here, Bryce.
I think they're struggling to kind of adapt to this Mindfreak style. That's what we said. We said the chemistry might not be there, they might not adapt as quickly, but they will adapt eventually. And I suspect that's what we might see in the dying seconds of this game, as that flag gets pulled again. Aches now has it. Problem being is Aches is going to run into a player here, right here, and down he goes. Den has managed to get that one. It will be picked back up by Apathy, who trades the kill away. And you can actually see, who's that? Aqua is going to be hunted. Can he manage to see it? He does manage to see the kill. But another player coming in, he does manage to get one. Can he see the second player as well? Teammates coming in and returned again for both squads.
Yeah, that was great play there from Aqua to actually get that return. Does manage to shut down Dens, who is trying to make another push. And it just seems like Mindfreak are just relentlessly throwing themselves at this flag continuously, because they know even if they get shut down, there's a constant stream of Australians charging at Prophecy, and they just can't seem to handle it.
No, they don't. And here we go. Fighter pushing forward once again, getting one kill, looking for that two, not able to pick that one up. Buzzo actually slowing right down, just kind of playing defensive here for his squad. And you've got to say, this is where it's important here. Mindfreak do not want to let this slip in the dying 2 minutes, Rel. They have the opportunity to take this map.
Well, Aqua got a big three-piece, and he's just followed that up with a fourth, making it a fifth. That's a huge play from Aqua. Absolutely phenomenal, taking out the entire Mindfreak team +1. And this is going to be a good chance now for Prophecy. Apathy has that flag. Shox is the only player left alive. If someone's going to shock it, stop it, it's Shox. Let's get on board with him as quick. Oh, he's gone down. That means Prophecy have got themselves back into this.
Jump, but there's a player trying to kill him now, and he is going to get it back in. 2-2 now between these two squads. And you've got to say, big plays from Aqua and the rest of Prophecy at the same time to get all the way through. They actually just four-manned, defensed it back all the way.
Yeah, this is anybody's game to play for now. It could really go either way, Bryce. It's so difficult to call it, because we've seen Mindfreak kind of in the lead the entire time, and they've used that to their advantage. But now that Prophecy has managed to bring it back to a tie, I can see Prophecy coming out on top.
They're trying to pick up another kill here. He's really starting to heat up as well for this squad. Could be dangerous now for Mindfreak in the last dying seconds as players go down once again. Here come Prophecy to push it forward. Of course, Mindfreak have slipped the next again. They're going to pull this flag regardless of what's going on. And it has gone now. It's going to be Shox that's pulled it away. Crunch time for Prophecy. Do they go for this counter pull now, or do they try and stop it? It has been returned anyway. A player left, and it is now 1 minute left. And again, Dens has cleaned it out.
Yeah, 1 minute left on the clock, and we're probably going to see both of these teams slow down a bit now. I think they become very conscious of losing things in the dying minute, and they'll probably take this to overtime. But there is still plenty of time for one last push from either side.
I generally think the Mindfreak are a little bit shook the fact that Prophecy managed to get that second flag back, and they're not being anywhere near as aggressive as they were even a couple of minutes ago now. And that could really go badly for him, as Apathy will pull this flag once again. Can he manage to get away? No. Instantly gone down. Not really enough of Prophecy here to make it, as Nagavan picks up two, but it doesn't have the bodies or the kind of the positioning to get this flag home. I think we're going to overtime.
Yeah, it's certainly looking that way. I think Buzzin is adopting a very defensive approach, but Fighter has made this pull. If anyone could have got a capture then with the final 15 seconds, it would have been Fighter. So that is going to be it, Bryce. We are going to overtime, and it's quite surprising given what we've seen in the previous two games. Let's just refresh our memories of what happened in those last two game modes. So it was Biolab Hardpoint 250 to 128 towards Prophecy. The Search and Destroy 6-2 towards Prophecy.
There were some great plays the entire way through that game. I mean, Fighter to be as aggressive as he was and continue to make those instant, kind of entry kills into and around that flag was really causing Prophecy problems. Even when they left a person behind, he was still picking up the kill. Players like maybe Apathy also kind of started slaying quite heavily around the map, and that was causing them problems that, realistically, what Mindfreak were playing for there was a pull and then map control. Yep. They wanted to pull first and then see if they could make kills on the way back.
Well, Shox probably the most hydrated player at this event right now, with 4 bottles of water on his table right in front of him, so making sure he's refreshed. But here we go, Fighter now trying to get first blood, does pick up Apathy, but answered straight back against Nagafen.
Dens now in a position, he's going to try and pick up a player there. He's going to miss a lot of shots. Eventually we'll pick it up. Now has the flag. 2 players left to beat. He is going to be shot and will be taken down. And that flag is also away the other side. Both flags returned again, Rel.
And remember, guys, back home, overtime, the quickest flag capture wins. That's what they're playing for here. And you usually see the tail end of the round kind of slow down the pace, much like we saw in the final minute of that previous game. But here we go, 3 big kills being made by Prophecy. Things really opened up. Nogafen's managed to pick up this flag, and he's actually making this pull now. And we can see Mindfreak flooding into the middle map, but they're getting completely shut down.
Oh. Dens is trying to slip through. He's not being able to. That is going to go home. Nagafen will now drop this one in, what was that, 55 seconds. It's a quick time, Rel.
Oh boy, and how are Prophecy going to play this now? They're just going to sit back on the home flag.
So the break is actually really important here. Realistically, Mindfreak need a good break, because if they don't, it's just killing time for them. 55 seconds is not a lot of time. You cannot take that many attempts at a flag.
Yep, well, we're going to see absolutely no defense here from Mindfreak. They've just got to throw themselves at this and try and come out on top when it comes to these gunfights. So far, not looking great for them, as Prophecy just show their dominance. Fighter trying to do what he can there, but does get shut down. With only 33 seconds left, Bryce, there's time for one last push.
Easily, Dens now coming through. He's going to lose that initial fight. Shox is now trying to get it as well. Will eventually get it. Does get traded away again, and Aqua is being a problem. He has managed to get that flag away now. Putting this home will end it and be a 3-0 for Team Prophecy, and it looks like he's home and sweet. Down it goes, and Prophecy 3-0 Mindfreak.
There we go. So great play from Prophecy there in the tiebreaker. It went to overtime. It was a very close capture the flag, Bryce, and for a lot of that game, Mindfreak were in control. Mindfreak were the dominant team, despite what we'd seen in the Hardpoint and Search and Destroy. But it is going to be Prophecy that come out on top. Some very, very strong play from the Prophecy boys.
It really wasn't. It was only that capture the flag that it started getting, kind of equal. What we actually expect to see the entire game long did not happen.
So Mindfreak, understandably disappointed there, but showing great sportsmanship, shaking hands with Prophecy, who have defeated them. They are not out of this tournament yet, though, Bryce. These groups are working under a double elimination bracket. As we've discussed before, it essentially means that each team needs to win 2 games to advance. That's the easiest way to look at it.
Yeah.
Mindfreak have lost 1. That means they have to be both aware, and it depends how the actual bracket pans out, to be fair.
We'll find out about that other game at some point later on in the tournament, but honestly, you got to be looking at Prophecy there. They were a very strong squad. The capture the flag tripped them up a little bit, and I think that was just because of how Mindfreak were playing. We saw almost every single time that they started to get, I think the Prophecy team was playing for map control, of which Mindfreak ignored and went, nah, we're just going to go for your flag every time.
Exactly, and you can sort of see that when you look at the kill-death ratios. Every single Mindfreak player was going negative, but they were still dominant for the majority of that game. It was only kind of the end of that second round when Prophecy regained control, took it to a tie, won the overtime. And Mindfreak's approach to that game just seemed to be to challenge everything.
Yeah.
Go in for the kill, challenge everything, whereas Prophecy took a more reserved, we'll get map control, we'll go for the rotations, and they've come out on top as a result of it.
Dens may also kept that game very, very close. He made some really good clutches on the flag. He continued to just defend his base whenever he could. And that was the reason it became so close here. Maybe a little bit more scattered from Mindfreak in terms of they weren't always playing together. But the key point was when that flag was pulled, that's when they tried to come together, not before.
Yeah. So, again, great play from both of these teams. And whilst Mindfreak did suffer quite a big defeat on the Hardpoint and the Search and Destroy, we've seen what they're capable of on that capture the flag. We know they're a strong team, and they're going to come out fighting in that group in the later games. But for now, we're going to throw you back to the analysts and see what they thought of that game.
All right, thank you, guys. Puckett here. We got TP and Mud Dog. We are watching the entire series. Guys, let's start off with just general broad overview. What did you think of Prophecy in their first showing here on LAN?
They came out extremely strong. MVP for me in the series was Apathy. Every time they went on with him, he was just so confident in his gunfights. I think he dropped a 1.7 KD in both of the respawns, just playing out of his mind with the sub, putting out a lot of pressure. I wasn't sure if he was going to be running more of a sub or Bal type of player, but we saw right there, lots of pressure on the map, just killed it.
You know, Revenge was such a teamwork-oriented team compared to some of the others, so I think Nagafin and Aqua were able to kind of just fill gaps and let Apathy and Aches do their thing.
Yeah, Apathy and Aches looking better. You can definitely just see what those other 2 players are bringing to the table, allowing those guys to go off. But for now, speaking of Aches, we got to send it down to our interview. Guys, take it away.
Thanks, Puckett. Here with Aches. Aches, 3-0 first game. Must be impressed with that. How you feeling?
Yeah, we're feeling pretty good. I mean, we made this team about a week and a half ago with replacing the 2 TR guys with Mochilla and Sensor. So feeling really good. You know, I mean, we made this team knowing we were going to be more starry on LAN than online. So we're showing up to what we thought we would do, and we're all feeling confident.
So yeah, as a pickup team, you managed to take down Mindfreak. So they're probably one of the best teams in Australia, or they are the best team in Australia, I suppose, at the moment. The first 2 maps quite clear cut, but the third map you have to go to overtime. What were you thinking when you went into the overtime?
They're a really good CTF team. They kept kind of pinching Nagafin in our spawn, and it was kind of really hard for him to play any kind of defense. So their CTF game was really good. Their subs were constantly pressured. So we kind of slowed it down, played as a team, made sure we traded all of our kills, and it really worked for us. So I mean, we capped, I think, both flags in about a minute time. So we just worked really well together, and we kind of just, I want to say we kind of talked about it. Like, as soon as that time ended, we were like, guys, look, we can beat them just like we did on Hardpoint. Just trade our kills, and we did it perfectly. So really proud of the team. Everybody played great.
You're a very experienced player. You've played in a lot of tournaments. How do you think you can do in this one with this team, knowing that you're going to go up against the likes of Denial, Optic, potentially later in the later stages?
We made this team to win these tournaments, so we're definitely feeling confident taking on first.
Okay, perfect. Well, so this has been Eggs. They've just beat Mindfreak 3-0. We're just going to throw it back to Puckett in the studio.
All right, thank you. Aches, feeling pretty confident, and he said something at the end there that I want to hit again. We built this team to win tournaments. Is this a championship caliber roster in your mind, TP?
I wouldn't say necessarily right now, but you never know. Like I said before, very top caliber players. 4 players that don't really seem that they would fit that well to each other, but like we said, we saw the revenge players, the old revenge players, sort of falling back into role players especially on the respawns. But we did see on the S&D as well, traditional Aqua, traditional Nagafen just running around with those snipers. Just really well-balanced team. They came out very strong in that series. I thought Mindfreak was going to put up a little bit of a better fight, but looking at that match right there, Pat's words are looking pretty strong.
Now, I do want to go on the record and say that is not the Mindfreak I predicted to play well in this tournament. I was talking with Izzy, one of the top gamers from Australia. You saw him formerly of Trident T1 Daughters, and he was saying, I wish the boys played like the way they did at Champs or the way they do at home. This is not the way they normally play. So if you're just watching Mindfreak for the first time, don't let that be the only expectation you have or the only sample of gameplay. Hopefully you'll see them a little bit later on, and I'm hoping they get a second chance to go through that lower bracket. But let's start it off talking about Prophecy, game number 1. Eggs drops 38-17, Apathy 46-21. What was Aqua and what was Nagafen doing, allowing those players going huge?
In some situations, they were kind of setting up those 2 and 3 pieces for him by baiting, but they were really just filling gaps. As a player, when you look at your minimap, you see what area is open, and they were just filling that, letting Aches and Apathy pick up those kills, and it really just allowed them to have a free play style.
Now, Apathy and Aches, they've had success together in Advanced Warfare. Yeah. They won the Columbus Open. Apathy also really kind of blew up in Ghost when we saw him back on Strictly Business at the U.S. Championship. What makes Apathy a great player in your eyes, TP, and what's kind of his greatest attribute?
Basically the way he maneuvers around the map in those close quarter areas. He's very awkward with his timings, I would say. Playing against them, he does these little wall peaks, knows how to use the camera glitching effect in the game to his advantage, and has always positioned himself in a high-quality gunfight where I like to call them high percentage, where they're really easy kills. The only hill that the Mindfreak guys were able to win was the green plat hill. That means that Prophecy was out-rotating, out-positioning. We saw so many times Apathy was just posted up at the front purple, aiming into a little doorway, and when you're able to get that, you're going to catch so many easy kills, and then he just hops away and gets it back into those situations where he's catching them on rotation once again. And then same thing with Pat. He was switching back and forth with weapons, right. AR, back to sub, depending on the hill. Always positioned himself in a very easy gunfight while you have Aqua and Nagafen just controlling the close quarters of the hill, racking up that easy time.
And I think one of the things that makes Apathy so good is he is a really smart player with his positioning and gets in those, sets himself up for those high percentage gunfights, but he's got an amazing shot and reaction time. Right. So when he's not in that best position, he bails himself out. Exactly.
They're both looking very good. The squad in general is looking strong. I think the only weakness we saw was maybe their CTF play, but when their back was against the wall, 53 seconds is all it took to nail it down. I had concerns coming into Search and Destroy for this squad. Mud Dog, how do you think they performed?
They definitely rose to the occasion, as Tyler mentioned, with the overkill snipers, really using those to the effect, and we saw Nagafen get some big first bloods.
Nagafen with the sniper was going huge. You saw early on, it was just play after play being made by Aqua. 6-1, I believe he opened things up on a 6 spree. Incredible stuff from him. Nagafen getting that bomb down in. And TP, for those watching at home, you were talking about the knife being used with plants and diffuses. Yeah. Real quick, can you break it down for me? Why would you want to use the knife while planting?
Nagafen used it absolutely perfect in that 1v1 clutch he was in. When you have the knife out, you're able to put the bomb down considerably faster when you're in those planting situations. That's how he's able to escape into green, reposition himself for the gunfight, and catch the guy defusing the bomb. So great plays by him. And we saw traditionally they were able to bring those sort of same situations they brought up consistently on their other teams. You had Nagafen roaming around that middle street, always catching those snipes on the guy at crates or at the back school, and then Aqua positioning himself with the sniper, even in close quarter gunfights.
Right.
Peeking lockers, gets that kill, pulls out the sub, rushes them, playing so confident, and then you have Apathy and Pat just bringing that veteran leadership from other Call of Duties, just playing the game the right way, isolating those easy gunfights for themselves, and just taking that map pretty much easily.
And one of the things that was interesting to see there is we know Pat can be kind of a controlling teammate,
Right.
and Nagafin and Aqua kind of have more of a unique, free playstyle and search. And I think Pat and Apathy did a really good job at letting them just roam and play
exactly.
for those picks.
We saw them doing things we saw them do on TR, transition that over just perfectly, get their picks, and play to their comfort level.
Well, Prophecy is looking like a top 4 team right now, in my opinion, but we have plenty more matches still to go. Live from London, this is the Gfinity Spring Masters, and we'll see you on the other side of this commercial break.
Wait, you're not on it? I'm on it.
I'm on it.
I'm on it.
I'm on it.
I'm on it. I'm on it. Where are you at?